cash should be forthright.
I had
City Council meeting of July the 26th is now called to order. Our prayer will be led by Councilman Bowman, and our pledge will be led by Councilman Flory. Let us stand.
Bow heads, please. Oh Lord, we're meeting here today to conduct matters of business. Guide our hearts and our minds in the spirit of fairness, right thoughts, and speech. Lord, impart your supreme wisdom upon our activities so that our affairs may reach a successful conclusion. And Lord, thank you for being our source of guidance for today.
Yes, sir.
These blessings and others, Lord, we ask upon you. Amen.
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 Going with me in the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, council members. Thank you, Congressman.
I think you want to move over there.
He gets to be a moving target.
I like that. That way we can balance it. Now, halftime, you move back over here.
Okay, thank you. Madam Clerk, you may call the roll, please.
Mr. Bradford?
Present.
Mr. Everson?
Here.
Mr. Jenkins?
Present.
Mr. Corbin?
Present.
Mr. Flurry?
Present.
Ms. Lynch? Mr. Bowman?
Here.
Okay, thank you. I would accept the motion to accept the minutes of our previous meeting.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Corbin, seconded by Councilman Jefferson, that the minutes of the June 11 and 12, July. Wait a minute, what am I looking at? July the 11 and 12 would be approved.
Mr. Chairman, excuse me. Councilman, you want to run over and?
He did.
I did it already.
I just had, I was looking at the screen and it said June the 11th, but it's actually July the 11th. Yeah. So it's been moved and properly second that the previous minutes will be approved. Any discussion? Okay, vote please. Motion passes 6-0, one out of the chamber. Thank you. Okay, we're down to awards, recognition of distinguished guests, and communications from the council members. Do any council members have any communication or awards or recognition? Chair has one in the form of a recognition. I don't know if the members know or if the administration know, but on Saturday, Mr. and Mrs. Arthur Thompson celebrated their 50th wedding anniversary. And we want to acknowledge that milestone in matrimony, and I ask that the deputy clerk would read a card from the council members.
For 50 years, you've traveled through life together. Only you can know all the joys you've seen and all the memories you've made. But the rest of us do know that you two are remarkable. Your golden anniversary is a time to celebrate and honor all that marriage means and all you've achieved in your lives together. Congratulations. And it's signed by all the members of the council and staff.
Congratulations. "50 years of marriage, Arthur, congratulations, and thank you for your service to this council and to this city. I wish all city councils could have a clerk like you. You really keep us focused and in tune, and you always prepared to give us what you have, and that is all that you have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations to your wife. Okay, any other council members have anybody recognition or communications? If not, Mayor, please.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman and members of the council. First announcement today, we have with us in our audience our newly named interim chief of police department, Shreveport Police Department, Lieutenant Alan Crump. Lieutenant Crump is spending this week shadowing, of course, with Chief Shaw. He will lead the department through the transition as we conduct a search for a permanent position. And I'd like to ask him to stand today. Thank you for being here, Lieutenant Crump. And also we have with us, and I don't have this on announcement yet, but we have our interim deputy chief of police with us. Mr. Bill Gooden is with us today. Will you please stand, Mr. All righty. Secondly, Louisiana received some accolades last week. A recent study by global accounting and consulting firm KPMG reported that the Bayou State has the lowest business costs in the nation. That's pretty attractive from the standpoint of a business owner considering where to locate a new plant or headquarters. And of course, we're in Louisiana, third largest city, and we have really been getting some great reviews about the cost of living and a good place to do business. Also last week, the 2016 Mayor's Internship Program ended for the 11 young college students who had the opportunity to gain the leadership skills necessary to prepare them for the next level in their careers and learn how city government works. We had a great group this past year, and we look forward to actually strengthening the group next year and the program next year. And I want to thank Ms. Tari Bradford for all of her hard work with this program. And I think we had those young people to come up and just stand last week.
Yes, ma'am.
On this coming Thursday, I want to invite the council members to come out for graduation ceremony of the 62nd Basic Fire Training Academy class of the Shreveport Fire Department. The event will be held at 6:30 p.m. at Peaceful Rest Missionary Baptist Church, 8200 St. Vincent Avenue. So if you can, try to come and support those young people. We continue to serve our citizens with numerous events. Since we met last, the city has supported several events, including our Work Harder football camp at Independence Stadium, Farmers Market and Festival Plaza, Movies and Moonbeams featuring Inside Out at Fort Park, Free Fridays Forever featuring Trepid at the Red River District, Free Fridays Forever featuring Dan Garner and Pocket Change at Red River District, Summer Fun Runs at Southern Hills and AC Steer Park, and Sunday Fun Day at Lee Hedges Stadium. And the list goes on. So we wanting to make sure that our citizens know that we have a lot going on to offer families in our great city. Those are the announcements, Mr. Chairman and council members.
Mayor, thank you for those announcements and for those recognitions. And I want to just congratulate Lieutenant Crump for his interim appointment. Looking forward to working with him until you're prepared to introduce another chief. Welcome, Lieutenant. I see Councilwoman Lynch has joined us. Councilwoman, you have any recognition or communications?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Okay, thank you. And let me, before we move forward, recognize Minister Charles Johnson. The mayor and I had a chance to participate in his program 2 Saturdays ago, and he wanted to come and have some comments. Please come as my guest, Pastor Johnson. Is Dr. Jackson here with you?
Yes, sir. Well, thank you so much to the chairman of this council for this opportunity, and to all of these distinguished council members, and of course to our honorable mayor, and to all of you whom serve. We just wanted to take the opportunity on behalf of the Young, Unique, Positive People organization, which I serve as president, CEO, and Dr. Jackson serve as chairman of our board of directors. Wanted to come to take this opportunity to tell the mayor and to tell you, the councilman, thank you. We have prepared some presentations for you, but we know the importance of your work here today, and so we're not going to read them, but yet we just wanted to present this to you, and also we wanted to present this picture that was pictured with us and the mayor, and also with you, Councilman, as well, speaking at our event. We're excited because we had an opportunity that day, over the course of the entire day, which we started at 8 a.m. and ended about 9 p.m. that night. We hosted over 1,182 children, youth, and young adults within Northwest Louisiana, and we're just very appreciative to your support and all that you all have done. And again, we just want to say thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank
And
you
Dr.
for
Jackson,
coming.
if you have any
Dr.
comments
Jackson,
at this
a few
time.
words.
He pretty much summed it up, but I just want to give my personal thanks. Your presence was greatly appreciated. The community loved those types of involvements, and we want to continue those type of efforts, but we just want to come and tell you thank you, and we appreciate you guys for coming
Thank you,
out.
gentlemen. Thank you very kindly. You may present the mayor.
And also, we did have a presentation as well from Ms. Tari Bradford. We thank you as well for attending as well, the mayor's executive assistant. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And I appreciate it. The mayor and I really enjoyed our visit and participation, and those are the type of programs, activities that we can support. So anytime in the future, if you guys need us to participate and present, we'll be happy to do so. Just give that to the clerk if you will, okay? Thank you again.
Could I get a signed copy of your picture for my own personal?
You certainly can. So when you get to Washington, you're gonna put it up on the wall?
Of course.
All of fame from back home.
That's it. Put my wall. Put the 7 council members and the mayor up there. Of course
right.
I will. There you go.
We got a deal, okay. Okay, thank you.
Saturday over there, you know,
We're at the,
One more. Well, somebody's turning 75 tomorrow.
oh, really?
Oh, yeah. There's
Wow, that's a
Don't
that's
spoil
another
the other card. Don't spoil the other
Well,
card.
somebody had some cupcakes delivered from the council to our great clerk. And we heard you had a sweet tooth, so that's what that's for. So happy early birthday to you, Mr. Thompson.
Whoa. Happy birthday.
It looks like he's scheduled well. We had some friends who a few weeks ago invited us to their birthday-versary party because they got married. Both their birthdays were near their anniversary as
that
well.
right?
It looks like you may be a similar situation there.
Celebration.
There you go.
Well, I didn't know that, but happy birthday, Mr. Clerk. Okay. All right. We hear from reports at this time. Anyone have any questions or? Okay, we're sharing that after the meeting, so stick around. Any inquiries to the proper standards regarding issues with Mr. Green? Anybody have any questions for Mr. Green? Mr. Green, thank you. At this time, we would hear from our master plan committee report. Ms. Sweeney?
Right, well, I just wanted to let you know that our last meeting was on July the 15th, and in that meeting, we heard a presentation from Bud Melton, who is with Half and Associates, and this is pertaining to the Department of Transportation's Transportation Alternatives Funding Opportunities. And the whole purpose of this meeting was to discuss in length about the parish's bicycle plan that they have paid for through a consultant to go forward with to implement. And so this purpose of this meeting was to talk about the bicycle plan and then to talk about a new funding opportunity that would allow for what I call a demonstration project in our area. Now, part of that process when you're wanting to get funding for something is you need to have an approved, adopted plan, and then you apply, because the more things you have in line to get the support from the community, the more likelihood you will have for the chances for funding. So one of the things that is set as part of this discussion in this meeting on the 15th was that the bicycle plan for the parish will be on the agenda for the MPC on August the 3rd for their review and approval. And then they will also hopefully recommend this funding opportunity, which will then go on forward to the Parish Commission. There's also the opportunity for the city to participate in this, because you got to remember the parish bicycle plan covers primarily the city and into the parish. And so this funding opportunity is not just limited to the parish. It's also available to the city. And so we're going to continue to move forward with the possibilities, to study that possibility, because there is a deadline of October the 31st for this opportunity for funds, and it won't come back around for 2 more years. And so it's one of those things with the window of opportunities right sitting in front of you, and it's going to close. So the intent of the master plan subcommittee was to get an overall view of this and to recommend that this be moved forward to both bodies for consideration. There's also the master plan implementation report. Now, we didn't get a whole lot of time to talk about any of these other items because we primarily met for the bicycle related issues at our last meeting. But in our subsequent meeting that will be coming up later on, probably in August, we'll talk about the implementation report, where we're gathering information from the members of the committee to give us their input on the short-term and long-term goals of the master plan and where we are in that process. And then also to talk further about what we're going to do with the Citizens Advisory Group, the CAG group, and to begin to determine what areas of expertise we need to be involved in the CAG and what geographical areas of the city and into the parish that we need to represent in that group. And we will probably also consider to continue to talk about the possibility of reestablishing SCONO, which is the Shreveport Council of Neighborhood Organizations. So that's all for the next agenda. So the primary purpose of this last one was bicycle-related issues, and Jeff may have more he wants to say about that. So.
Oh, I appreciate it. You gave a great recap, and that is the same funding opportunity. The mayor and I had talked briefly about it, and we are doing some additional due diligence to see how the city may be able to participate, and so certainly appreciate you mentioning that. You know, there were, for that next agenda, I mean, I do hope we have some good participation in that meeting because, like Mark said, there's a few of those things there that could be really beneficial in implementing a number of these tasks from the master plan. For instance, you know, when the SCONO was set up, there are some just maybe structural things that make it difficult for that organization to maintain because of the nature of the organizations that are represented within it change a lot. So we discussed maybe bringing in some different departments from the city and parish that might be able to help that be more sustainable so that we don't have to find ourselves every 2 years trying to reestablish this group because it is a very helpful group, but it may need to be just structured a little differently. Yes. So certainly look forward to bringing the results of that conversation back and appreciate your update. It was a great one.
Thank you.
Mark, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
On the topic of bicycle and bicycle lanes and things like that. There's kind of a grassroots effort and some emails going around about a river crossing for bikes and pedestrians. Are you included in some of those emails, or do I need to make sure you are?
I have not been. I spoke briefly with another person just earlier today about trying to find ways to integrate the trail system into the bicycle lane system that's being proposed in the plan for the parish. One of the things I mentioned to that individual, and it's kind of pertinent, is you're well aware of the fact, because NLCOG came and kind of did a little presentation for y'all where they talked about the proposed regional thoroughfare plan. And that thoroughfare plan, which, by the way, they're going to select the consultants to do that work next month, August the 19th. They'll select a consultant that will take about a year to 18 months to do. But that thoroughfare plan is not just the streets and the highways, but it's the bicycle lanes, the trail systems, and the mass transit elements that can be integrated together. We've never had a plan before for both Shreveport and for Caddo Parish that has ever integrated all of that together. And that's the hope that we get that. Now, you know, how much money you have and how much you can do certain things is going to limit you, and they may not be able to do everything we want to do. But the reality is that's the goal. So any of these things that we're talking about, anything that connects a neighborhood to another neighborhood, we really need to include that in that overall regional thoroughfare plan.
I'm going to forward you these emails.
That'd be great.
And I will make sure that the originator has your email.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Okay, is that all, Mr.?
That's it.
Well, thank you. Thank you for that report, and thank you and the chair of the committee both for enlightening us on the work that's happening there.
Thank you, sir.
We look forward to. Okay. Council members, we have today a item on the agenda for a public hearing. I'm asked the clerk to read the ordinance that will be discussed at this point. I think it's ordinance 46, Mr. Clerk.
It's an annexation ordinance, tag number 16-01, to enlarge the limits and boundaries of the city of Shreveport for the extension of the lakeside on Long Lake development in section 22, Township 16 North, Range 13 West, Caddo Parish, Louisiana, and to otherwise provide with respect thereto.
Okay. Without objection, this public hearing is called order. Do the administration have a presentation regarding this annexation?
Presentation.
We'll be glad to answer any questions.
Right.
Mr. Chairman, if we could, I know I'm going to ask the city engineer to come up when we get to the actual agenda item.
Okay.
And there were some questions that we had in our conversations yesterday that I think we can address. But for that part of the presentation, I'd like to wait till we get to the agenda item.
Fine, mighty fine. Okay. With that being said, is there anyone here who would like to speak in favor of this annexation? Wait a minute. Are you coming down, sir?
Yes.
Okay, please come forward. Okay. He was recognized first, Mr. Ken. Okay, sir, please, you state your name and address. You have 3 minutes, okay?
Micah Duffy with Coyle Engineering. We're at 3925 Benton Road in Bossier, 71111, representing the owner. We're the design engineers for Unit 6, which is part of this annexation, so happy to answer any questions you might have.
Okay, the council member just mentioned that there may be some inquiries that may need to be ascertained, but he wanted to wait until we got to the actual ordinance on adoption.
Okay.
So if you would stick around and be a part of that conversation, we appreciate it. Okay? Is there anyone else here who would like to speak in favor of this annexation? Mr. Kraft. Please state your name, sir, and your address for the record.
Kenneth Kraft at 157 Arch, or Shreveport 71105. 30-something years ago, we did a lot of annexations during the 80s, and 26 of the 28 I wrote, the reduction in fire and homeowners insurance was greater than the increased city property taxes, and I just want to know if that's still true. Is it generally a savings to the homeowner? Is their homeowner's premium go down more than their new city taxes, which are added? It's just a question.
Well, that question, at this point, Mr. Sweeney, is not going to be responded to, okay? The question is, do you speak in favor or of this annexation? Okay, all right. Okay, anyone else who would like to speak in favor of this annexation? Is there anyone here who would like to speak in opposition of this annexation? Is there anyone here who would like to speak against the annexation of this parcel of property? Seeing none, this public hearing is adjourned. We're down now to adding items to the agenda. Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Chairman, we have one for your consideration, Resolution 148, suspends the effects of Chapter 106 of the Code of Ordinances relative to 2901 Milam Street. 2109 Milam Street is the old Mashota Grocery, later the Scroggins Grocery on Milam Street. The new owners have gone in and renovated
this property. On one side is a laundromat. Went out and viewed it yesterday, and Mr. Bowman has also, that has all new modern equipment. And the other side, a wall separates them. They intend to have a grocery store, and they want to sell alcohol, beer, and wine as a part of that grocery store. Back in 2014, they appeared before the ZBA and requested a special exception and a variance in parking, a special exception to sell packaged beer and wine, and a variance in parking. The board at that time approved a 14 space parking variance for 18 months, with the understanding that they were supposed to acquire those 14 spaces by lease or otherwise before the end of that 18 months was up. However, they were not able to do that because apparently of the cost of reconstruction of the building, and they also added parking in the back. Also, under the new code that we're considering, that will be considered, there will be sufficient parking that they have now. In other words, they won't need the variance for parking if the new code is adopted. So for that reason, this resolution, if adopted, would allow them to open the grocery store to sell beer and wine while an application for the ZBA to reconsider its prior decision is pending. And if the ZBA grants their request to allow them to proceed without the additional parking, they would be able to do so. If the ZBA would deny it, then they would have to stop unless the council overturned that decision.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Councilman Bowman, you have any remarks?
No, other than I did go by the, I visited the store 3 times. I visited the laundromat, and the parking spaces that they so needed at first. Just turned out that they did need it, because most of the people that come there get dropped off or use the bus, public transportation, or they walk there. So that was all I had to say.
I mean, I'm familiar with the location, and I'm proud of the renovation that was done and putting a business like a laundromat at that location, where I think within the 5-mile radius of that location, there's no other laundromat, and I think there is some need for some convenience store products. So I can actually support this this legislation to add it to the agenda. So given that,
I have a question.
you want to catch it on the motion, or you want to catch it now?
No, I had a question. When is the ZBA, the next ZBA meeting?
The next ZBA meeting that this item would be taken up? September. Okay. September. Are the owners of this location here?
She was supposed to have been coming. She was on her way from Dallas. She had a meeting, but I don't know if she...
I met the young lady when they had the grand opening. I think he was there.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. He was there too. Okay, well, anyway, that's neither here nor there. I just wanted to recognize that she was here. I would move that this legislation, 148, would be added to the agenda. Discussion? Moved by the chair, seconded by council.
Did we already ask the part whether anybody spoke for or against it? Did already? Sorry.
Well, yeah. So I'm just asking now, let us vote for this. I'm sorry?
Might ask if the public has any comments for or against it.
That's what I
I'm
was
sorry.
hinting at.
That's what you was asking me. Okay.
Trying to be...
For the record, to the public, this item was introduced after the regular agenda was created. And now, by our ordinance, we must ask the public if they have any opposition or favor on this item. So I'm asking now if anybody here in the public who would like to speak in favor of this item being added to the agenda today. Anybody who would like to speak in favor? Seeing none, is there anybody here who would like to speak against adding this to the agenda today? Anybody here who would like to speak against adding it? Okay. Seeing none, council members, are you prepared to vote? Please vote. Motion,
Mr. Chairman, the motion, in order to be added, it requires a unanimous approval by the council.
thank you, Mr. Clerk. So in that regards, the motion fails. I have no public comment requests at this time. Well, yes, I do. I have one. I have some members who want to speak on Resolution 146. Is that right?
Sammy Mears, 1901 Centenary Boulevard, Shreveport, Louisiana, 71101. I had gotten the word that there's going to be a housing development for the elderly being built very soon, and it's being looked into, and I think that this is a wonderful thing for the elderly because there have been some places that have been built not long back, like South Point Place apartments for the elderly over on South Point Place, and they've already had like the Jordan Square apartments for those 62 and up as well. And I think that this will be a very good thing for another one to come along. I'm not sure where the location will be unless anyone could tell me, but otherwise I believe it will be good for them to have independent living as well. Because people do need independent living. They don't want to be stuck in a group home all their lives and have somebody like Nancy or a Betty come along and say, no, you don't need independent living. What would those two know? People do need independent living. They want to be able to make it on their own. And that's why I'm in favor of this as it's going to be taking place. Wherever the location is, I'm in favor of it. It's going to be a wonderful thing. Because people, they like to be able to fellowship with other people in the areas where there are independent living. They got things they want to do. They want to get their laundry done, do their grocery shopping, take care of paying bills and rent. They say stuck in a group home, they're going to be dull. So it's time for them to move away from a group home and up into an apartment where they can have the right to show that they can be in the community with other people for independent living.
Thank you, Mr. Mills, for those remarks. We have no confirmation of appointments today, Mayor.
I'm sorry?
No appointments to be.
Not today. No, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Clerk.
No.
We may proceed with the agenda.
We have on the consent agenda, we have Resolution 147, rejecting bids received for IFB number 16-060 for Canal Boulevard and Hollywood Avenue area sanitary sewer improvements.
What I hear?
So moved.
Move by.
Second.
By Councilman Corbin, second by Councilman Everson, that we will vote to reject the bids that has been presented. Then discussion. Mr. Crawford, any comments from the administration regarding this item?
I have
No,
a
sir.
question.
You came in higher than our budgeted amount, and it's required to be rejected.
I'm sorry, Council Lady, you may speak at this.
Yeah, I think a large part of this is probably is in District F. So I guess my question is, what's the plan now that the bids are probably going to be rejected?
I'm sorry.
She's
What's the plan?
We'll get back with the engineering firm that came up with the budget and go over the bids that were received and see if there is some alternative proposal that can meet or match what close to was being bid, or there's some part of the design that can be redone to accommodate a lower amount.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, any other discussion? Not, please vote. Motion passes 7-0. May continue.
We're now under resolutions on second reading and final passage. There is one, Resolution 146. It authorizes and provides for the waiver of all fees required for the construction of a 50-unit affordable housing elderly development within the city of Shreveport.
So moved.
Moved by Council.
Second.
by Councilman Corbin, second by Councilman Everson for the approval of this resolution and waiver. Any discussion? If not, please vote. Well, I'm sorry.
Who should that be?
It's hard to see.
I have a question. What's the total amount of fees that we're waiving?
Anybody respond to the council?
Inspection, tap, and impact.
Bonnie is a little late coming. We can get that for you.
She's
Councilwoman,
behind.
is she
Is she
here?
here?
Okay, come on up. Let's see, it's 200 something.
And I'm with Sammy on this. I think the age
Bunny's
starts
here.
at 55, so in a couple of
You don't
years,
have that?
Sammy, I may have a new residence.
Okay, may we get that to you later, Councilwoman Lynch? We don't have that amount with us today.
Okay, thank you. But just in the future, if we can get a note on, especially when we're waiving fees, if we can get a note on it, that would be helpful.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we discussed that yesterday. Council lady
We'll
and
do it.
administration have agreed to provide us a ballpark figure of what anticipated fees could be.
We will.
Thank you. Any other questions regarding this legislation? Please vote. Motion passes 7-0. May continue.
Mr. Chairman, there are no resolutions to be introduced. We're now in introduction of ordinances. Ordinance 71 closes and abandons portions of Ponderosa Trail and Sugarleaf Trail in the Lynbrook subdivision, Unit 5 and 5A in Section 35. Ordinance 72 amends Section 50-188 of the code to provide additional language to address the removal of signs posted on city property. Let me back up. I believe this was the one to be removed.
It is.
So moved.
Well, let's see.
It's the next one. It's the next one,
72.
Option 72.
It's not 72?
Yeah, it's about the signs.
That's what he was asking.
No, it is 72.
It was 72.
Yes, then
Yeah,
we're asking
he's
that
on
that
the
be
right.
removed.
So 72 is to be removed.
Yes.
So we could back up, Mr. Chairman, and take a motion to remove 72.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Jenkins, second by Councilwoman Lynch, that this item 72 would be removed from the agenda.
And
Yes, sir.
interrogative, you want us to remove it, not table it?
No, we want to remove it because we're going to do a redraft based on the discussion that we had yesterday, and then we'll present it possibly at the next council meeting for your review, once the mayor approves it.
Good explanation. Any further discussion? Please vote. Motion passes 7-0.
Chairman, I'll start all over again. Ordinance 71, I read. We now go to ordinance number 73. It's a zoning matter. Case number C-54-16. It will rezone property located on the east side of Wallace Lake Road, 180 feet south of Dalton Street, from B2A to B2 Neighborhood Business District. The next is ordinance number 74. It's a zoning matter C-55-16. It rezones property located on the northeast corner of Industrial Loop in St. James, 293 feet west of Blum Boulevard, from R1D to B1 Buffer Business District. And ordinance number 75, zoning, case number C-58-16. It rezones property located on the south side of Southfield Road, 750 feet east of Uri Drive. Those are the ordinances to be introduced.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Jenkins, second by Councilman Bowman for introduction of these ordinances. Are there any discussion? If not, please vote. Introduction passes 7-0. You may continue.
We're now in ordinances on second reading and final passage. The first is ordinance 46, is an annexation ordinance tag number 16-01, to enlarge the limits and boundaries of the city of Shreveport for the extension of the lakeside on Long Lake development in section 22, Township 16 North, Range 13 West, Caddo Parish, Louisiana, and otherwise provide with respect thereto.
So moved.
Second by the chair. Moved by Councilman Corbin, second by the chair. Are there any discussion?
Mr. Chairman, there were some questions and comments yesterday about some ongoing drainage issues related to this new part of development.
Yes.
I think that the city engineer can address what's being done by the developer. I also talked with Mr. Crawford and Mr. Jenkins, who also had some questions about it. I think that we had some unusual circumstances earlier this year when we had almost 30 inches of rain, and there were some issues there. That's an unusual event, and I'm not going to talk about the engineering part of it because I'll only get myself in trouble. I'm going to let Robert do that. But I think that Robert can describe what is going on out there and what makes him feel satisfied that these improvements will eliminate any kind of problems.
Okay.
As we discussed yesterday, the subdivision, and Mr. Duffy is here with Coyle Engineering, who has done the engineering for the subdivision, but the way the subdivision is being constructed, a portion of the drainage basin that used to go to the lower property is going to be intercepted by the roadway system, which will carry it in another venue through an underground system away from that particular property. As far as construction is concerned, I've got Patrick down here. He can give you more specific details as to where we're at right now, construction-wise, as he does oversee construction of private subdivisions. It's my understanding, just talking with him, they've done rough grading of the site, which means they're getting prepared to start the roadway work as far as the subdivision is concerned. That rough grading has provided some additional benefit to prevent any further water flow going down towards the Payne House by taking it down the alignment of the roadway. But I can have Patrick answer any specific questions about construction as we stand right now.
Ms. Westerman, Mr. Curran, the gentleman who was representing Duffy, I can ask you a question, and then we'll hear from the representative. The concern we had was that even with the annexation and what happened last year, earlier in the spring and then last year also, caused us some concern regarding that area being at risk of flooding and consequently creating some hardship on the city if indeed that happens. And we was wondering, did you, in the design of it, consider that possibility?
In its natural state, you have well over an acre coming that way.
Okay.
And during the design, we noticed that. And so we have regraded the lots. And you may have to look at the picture to see, but the street will intercept most of it. And the lots will be picked up on that westerly, southwesterly side to go, in fact, to the street, to the new street, and be carried downstream to another inlet. And so in the very back of the lot, ultimately, it will be less flow on those folks on that south side. We are intercepting the majority of that flow.
Any other concerns or questions? Okay.
I have to sort of trust the subject matter experts on this. I'm not going to get out there with my, abacus.
And the owner did recognize that and take it upon himself during construction immediately and put up silk fences and try to grade back there a little flatter. You can take away some of that slope to slow that water down, and so I feel like he did a good job anticipating that.
Well, I mean, if it was projected and anticipated that, then y'all responded with it, that's good. We just, in assuming annexation, we assume the good, the bad, and the ugly in some instances. We just want to make sure there wasn't no liability issues that would be presented to us in case that did happen, and we had an opportunity to know those in advance. So thank you, sir. And Robert, your department is comfortable with what you described as a remedy to what may happen with the water flowing the direction that is now going.
Yes, sir, that is correct. We are satisfied with the mitigation measures that was proposed by the consultant and subsequently adopted into their construction plans.
Very good. Any other, Councilman?
So did you mention when actually you expect the work to be complete on your mitigation efforts?
Let me get Patrick up here, perhaps he can give you a better answer on that. Patrick, if you wouldn't mind.
Just the rough grading of the dirt's going to provide the most drainage benefit at this point, and currently the rough grading is complete. We have not gone out and measured it with instruments, but just with the naked eye, going out and looking at it, looking at the set of plans and looking at what they've done there. The road has been graded out to intercept some flow, and the lots on the downhill side have been graded back towards the street.
Gotcha. And so the actual pouring of the concrete for the, I don't know if that helps or hurts, to be honest.
It will help. Right now they have the storm drain pipes installed, and they have the sewer pipe installed, and they're working on the manholes in the boxes. When they're done with those, they'll install the water mains. Then after all the utilities are installed, they'll work on the street. They'll do the base and then the pavement. And the pavement will just give a cleaner site, catch more water, and get it to the drainage system.
Gotcha. And timeline for?
I don't know the construction schedule.
I spoke with a developer earlier today, and he said the street would be completed within the next 30 days.
That sounds correct.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Robert.
Okay, it's been moved and proper second for this adoption. Any other questions? If not, please vote. Motion passes 6-1. You may continue.
Ordinance number 69 amends the 2016 capital improvements budget. This decreases the police property and evidence storage facility by $416,914 and creates a new project with the same amount for the police department facilities maintenance and improvement.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Everson, second by Councilman Corbin for approval. Any discussion on this matter? Please vote. Motion passes 7-0.
Ordinance number 70 amends the 2016 budget for the general fund. This concerns the managed care organization that we've talked about before, the money to prime the pumps.
So moved. Second.
By Councilman Everson, second by Councilman Jenkins for the adoption. Any discussion? Please vote. The measure passes 7-0.
Chairman, those are all of the items on the regular agenda. I'm not aware of any matter to be taken from the table.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you very kindly for your service.
Mr. Chairman, I don't think that there are any appeals to be taken up today.
Ready?
So we would
look
be
at my
at
notes
reports
now.
from officers, boards, and committees.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Reports from officers, boards, and committees. Any council members have any reports? Councilman Corbin.
Mr. Chairman, I think that all of us received yesterday or over the weekend a letter from the audit firm giving us an update of where we are on the city audit.
Yes.
So if you did not see that in your inbox, let me know and I'll get you another copy of it. But it looks like things are progressing, and we will make our extended deadlines.
Good, good. Okay, y'all heard that, right? It's anticipated we'll meet our extended deadline. Okay, because the process is going to start back after a while, so anyway. All right, thank you, Councilman Corbin. Any other council members have any reports?
Well, let me ask just one question, and it's a little bit rhetorical in the sense that I'm not sure there's much can be done about it, but does the audit's extension impact the 2017 budget's formulation? No, even though they identify like a cash on hand or, you know.
I mean, obviously, we're going to use the ending numbers for the fund balance as they come in, but it's not going to impact our schedule and.
No, that's
plug
all.
it into your, so. Yeah,
your
we're
system
still
and-
pushing forward, and in fact, a lot of our directors have already begun working on it. Their capital, I believe, is due at the end of this week, and they're operating in a couple of weeks, so they're all on schedule for that.
Gotcha. No, I was just wondering if the end of fund balances, which come out of the
question.
CAFR rate, are going to kind of delay the whole process, but
No,
if you can.
because actually it's still through June 30th. They just extend the time that we have to submit the CAFR to the state legislative auditor. But that those ending balances stop June 30th. Does that answer your question?
Yes, ma'am. Oh, no, I mean, very, very clear to me. I
Okay.
was doing it from
Gotcha.
the way we do a budget on the
Okay. All right.
I want to do a public safety meeting, August, August 20.
What's you schedule the public service?
Public safety.
Public safety meeting on,
It's the last in August, August 29th, 20th.
last meeting.
29th.
29th and 30th is the 2 days I have, Monday and Tuesday. What time? 1?
after the,
When do you want it? When do you want the meeting?
after administrative conference or the council meeting?
Administrative.
Okay, that'll be Monday,
22nd.
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 That was 22nd. Because the second Tuesday is the 8th. And then the fourth Tuesday will be the 22nd.
Okay.
So we want to schedule a public service committee meeting on the 22nd at 1:30?
Yes, please.
At 1:30. Public service, what I'm saying, public service, public safety.
Might need one of those too, Chairman.
I think so. Okay, public safety on the 22nd at 1:30, and those members who are members of the committee, please govern yourselves. Okay. Okay, any other council members have any reports or communication? Okay. If not, additional, I'm sorry, Mr. Clerk, I don't want to forget you being the most effective clerk in Louisiana, huh?
Mr. Chairman, because of all of the celebrations that have occurred, I ask that I be relieved of clerk's report.
Now,
only for this week, though. I mean, that
now, if you'd have said it differently, I would have agreed to it. But if it's business regarding what the council needs to know, then we're going to have to hear it. But since you have given us all that you have given us today, you are excused from any further report.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome, sir. And you are one of the better clerks in Louisiana. Additional comments? Madam Mayor,
None, thank you, sir.
would I be out of order if I was to say to our outgoing chief and deputy chief, thank them for their service?
We'd love for you to say that. We did it last Friday, but we can do it again today because they have been outstanding public servants for the Shreveport Police Department.
And I just want to acknowledge that this would be the last council meeting that they would be in their current positions. Effective July the 31st, they would be retired.
Mr. Chairman, maybe you can get him out of the control room.
They're in the control room looking at us.
they maybe have already left.
They went to deal.
We have to ask all our questions to the lieutenant, huh?
Not in the building, they went to deal with an issue.
But anyway, we just wanted to express those sentiments from the council that we appreciate their dedicated service. We won't delay the meeting, but we will just acknowledge that.
They had come, but CEO said they had to leave to take care of some issues. They're
Okay.
still looking out for
Still
the
working,
city.
still getting paid.
Through July 31st.
Well, thank them, Mayor, for us.
We will certainly do that.
All righty. Any council members have any additional comments or communications?
I do, Mr. Chairman. I should have said this at the first of the meeting, and I just completely forgot about it. I wanted to thank everybody who had a hand in the Red River Balloon Rally recently. It brought a lot of people into Shreveport, and I think it was a great event, even though we had rain Friday night. I think the crowd Saturday night made up for it. A lot of people out there. quite warm, but everybody seemed to be having a good time. And I want to say a special word of thanks to our Public Works crews who went out and worked along the East Kings corridor and did a lot of improvements out there, made it look good, and got a lot of good comments from folks at the balloon rally. So I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Thank you for acknowledging that. That was a nice affair. The rain on Friday kind of dampened things, but it went well. And let me, on behalf of the Marston-Dixon family and company, thank the city and this administration for what you did, Mayor, and the administration did to make their convention here successful. There was a couple of lynches that was addressed immediately to not cause any interruption in their weekend activities. I want to thank you for that, for comforting that anxiety on that Saturday morning especially. And to my knowledge, there was over 2,000 visitors over the 3-day event. Economic impact boost for the city.
Absolutely.
They had a wonderful event on Friday night. Councilman Gloria and I had the opportunity to go on a boat ride, a cruise up the Red River with dinner. They bought a paddle boat down from Memphis to engage their guests. We had a chance to participate in that. That was very, very nice. Until the storms came in, we said, let's get off this paddle boat. We couldn't get out. But it was nice. And then on Saturday, it was outstanding. They had an event outside and as well as the concert inside. But CEO and I was there. We was looking at this tent that ran the entire length of Everett Presley Boulevard. And we were saying this is something we ought to be able to do with this. So I'm gonna leave it up to him to design an event that could accommodate such a festivity.
If those trees keep growing, we got to do it soon, though.
That's right. Yeah.
They were right up under the trees.
Yeah, but it complemented that whole
it was beautiful.
scene, you know. And but anyway, they expressed, man, I got an email, I think you did too.
I did.
Expressing their appreciation to the city for doing that, and as well as Councilman Jenkins' support of what all they did this weekend.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Any other council members with any?
Yeah, I want to ask
communication.
Ask Mr. Gooden and Mr. Crump to come up, please. I had some questions and some discussion about saggy pants. So if you all can just give me a little insight, some light on that.
Okay. To the Honorable Mayor, Mayor Tyler, CEO Crawford, and to this esteemed council, we do have a city ordinance relative to sagging pants, and it's actually titled Wearing Pants Below the Waist. And it's a 3-step process to where on the first offense, you can issue a summons. It's not an offense to where the person cited is booked into our adult facility or juvenile facility. So you write a summons for the proper court to handle it. There's also a $100 fine and a 1 8-hour day picking up trash, refuse, or a court-appointed community service. For the second offense, the violation is $150, a 2-day court-appointed community service or trash picking up. On the third offense, then it's $250, and it's a 4 8-hour day community service event or activity. And of course, that's with the same person being cited in what I just stated. So we do have one in effect, and how it actually reads is wearing your outer garments below the waist, exposing skin or undergarment is how the statute is written.
Okay, okay. Is that enforced in it, or we just, that you know of?
Yes, and I know it was enforced a lot when I was still supervising our school resource officers. They did a lot of that in the high schools, and it kind of mirrored some of the school-related infractions with Caddo Parish, but it was a school deal that Caddo Parish dealt with, but it is also a city ordinance. So when our officers enforced it, they enforced it based upon the city ordinance and not Caddo Parish rules, because we don't enforce those. But I know it was enforced in the school setting, and I can go back to the time when I was supervising the community response unit. When we were out, we did do it as well, and I believe that our patrol officers do yet enforce it. But I do know from the CRU experience, we did enforce it.
Okay. That's it.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Any other council members?
You're gonna need to pull your pants up. I will gladly bring a belt for Councilman Bowman to our next meeting if that's a requirement at this stage.
Well, council, y'all work that out. Y'all work that out. I'm sure you wouldn't reject the gift.
I would turn it down.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, council members. We're down to public comments on items that are not on the agenda. And I have several requests. I'm gonna start with Mr. Kenny Kraft, and Mr. Kraft has asked me in advance for an extra 2 minutes. So without objection, if there's no objection from the council members, I would like to award Mr. Kraft 5 minutes for his public comments or presentation. Mr. Kraft.
A little of both. We all know what happened July 17th in Baton Rouge. And if you want to become emotional with me, that's fine. This is the words from August 28th of 1963, condensed. The whole thing takes 18 minutes. I may do that later. I'm happy to join with you today in what will go down in history as the greatest demonstration for freedom in the history of this nation. 50 years ago, a great American in whose symbolic shadow we stand today signed the Emancipation Proclamation. This momentous decree came as a great beacon light of hope to millions of Negro slaves who had been seared with the flames of wicked injustice. It came as a joyous daybreak to end the long night of their captivity. But 100 years later, the Negro is still not free. 100 years later, the Negro is still sadly crippled by the manacles of segregation and the chains of discrimination. 100 years later, the Negro lives on an island of poverty in the midst of a vast ocean of material prosperity. 100 years later, the Negro is languished in the corner versus our society and is in exile, finds himself in exile in his own land. So we have come here today to dramatize a shameful condition. But in a sense, we have come to the nation's capital to cash a check. The architects of our republic who wrote the magnificent words of the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence were signing a promissory note to which every American was to fall heir. This note was a promise that all men, black men as well as white men, would be guaranteed the inalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But it is clear that America has defaulted on this promissory note insofar as her Negro citizens of color are concerned. But we must not believe that the Bank of Justice is bankrupt. We must not believe that, I'm sorry, we must not believe that there are insufficient funds in the vast vaults of opportunity of this nation. So we have come to cash this check, and this check will be given upon demand as riches of freedom and the security of justice. But there is something I must say to my people who stand on the warm threshold which leads into the palace of justice. In the process of gaining a rightful place, we must not be guilty of wrongful deeds. Let us not satisfy our thirst for freedom by drinking from the cup of bitterness and hatred. We must forever conduct our struggle on the high plane of dignity and discipline. We must not allow creative protest to generate into physical violence. Again and again, we must rise to the majestic heights of meeting physical force with soul force. We will not walk alone, and as we walk, we must make the pledge to always march ahead. We cannot turn back. You have been the veterans of suffering. Continue to have the faith that unearned suffering is redemptive. Go back to Mississippi, go back to Alabama, go back to Georgia, South Carolina, go back to Louisiana, go back to the slums and ghettos of our northern cities, knowing that somehow the situation can and will be changed. Do not wallow in the valley of despair, I say to you today, my friends. And so, even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I have a dream. It is a dream based on the American dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live up to the creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of slaves and the former slaves and former slaveholders will sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream that even the state of Mississippi, sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today. I have a dream that Alabama, that one day down in Alabama, with its vicious racist, with its governor with his lips dripping with the words of interposition and nullification, that down there in Alabama, little black boys and little black girls will be able to walk, join hands with little white boys and little white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream. I have a dream that one day that every valley shall be exalted, and that every mountain, hill and mountain will be made low. The crooked places will be made plain. The rough places will be made. The crooked places will be made straight. And that the glory of salvation or God shall be. Oh, I'm just getting too emotional. I beg your pardon. Let me try to go to the end. And let us understand that if America is to be a great nation, this must become true. I have a dream that the prodigious hilltops of New Hampshire, let freedom ring from the mighty mountains of New York, let freedom ring from the heightening Alleghenies of Pennsylvania, let freedom ring from the snow-capped Rockies of Colorado, let freedom ring from the curvaceous slopes of California. But not only that, let freedom ring from Stone Mountain of Georgia. Let freedom ring from Lookout Mountain of Tennessee. Let freedom ring from every hill and molehill of Mississippi. From every mountainside, let freedom ring. And when this happens, we will allow freedom ring. We will let it ring from every village and hamlet, every state and every city. And we will speed up that day when all God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands in the words of the old Negro spiritual and be able to say, free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Pastor Mays?
Dr. Martin Luther King.
And you gotta give him 7 minutes too.
Dr. Martin Luther King used. And
I'm sorry.
also
Please
spoke
state your
Pastor
name and address
Mays.
for the record.
Yes, sir. I was just giving him some accolades. Pastor Mays, 10398 Buncombe Road. And I have a few simple steps with all the civil unrest that has been taking place throughout this country. It is sad that those who sit in positions to do something go silent when it's time to move. Those who we elect to do their civic duty has went to sleep on the job. Here's a list of demands that we're taking to Baton Rouge. Sensitivity, some of them might be already in place. Sensitivity training for all police officers throughout the state. A citizens review panel not affiliated with not affiliated with the police department. Community policing, we want to get back to that. If it's already in place, good deal. Maximum of 20 years to a minimum of 20 years and a maximum of life in prison if for any officer that use excessive force and those who witness that excessive force being used that will result into the death of an unarmed person. 5, no paid administrative leave for officers involved in shooting. Now, we got some more that are going to go along with this. The attorney is typing it up. So an officer that shoots an individual who is unarmed, we don't feel that he should go on paid administrative leave, paid vacation. Number 6, a police dog is not considered as a police officer because he takes commands and doesn't give them. 1-800-BLUE, my brother-in-law in Texas, who's on the police department, he said this would protect police officers to report incidents directly to the U.S. Justice Department when they see an officer misuse his authority. 1-800-BLUE would protect that for citizens as well as police officers. Because those who don't know, there is a blue wall of silence that exists where police officers cannot come forth and tell what they see. We want also that the badges, that the cameras, body cams that we've been talking about for quite some time, Councilman, body cams should be a part of the uniform that the officers wear. So these things, and we have on the petition, we got 5 on there, but we adding some more. We getting the attorney to type it up in legal form. I did you a rough draft of some of the things that we take into our state legislative branch. I talked to Sam Jenkins a little bit earlier today, and Sam spoke to our group this morning, and he said while he was sitting on the council, there's assertive effort not to move anything on police brutality or police misconduct. He said he's trying to do it on the state. He talked to the governor in regards to it, but you can't get no movement because nobody wants to face the fact that all police officers are not good. There are some that do an excellent, outstanding job, and we commend those. But there are a certain group of police officers that use this authority and this abuse, and they are not subject to any retribution. So they continue to do it as so. So the only reason I passed it to you guys, just to make you aware that you got it in hand of some of the demands. We're going to take it on to the state legislative branch to ask them to help us in this endeavor. As I said, in Shreveport, as our march, and thank all of Shreveport that came out to support it. And thank Ms. Tyree, because she did say, you know, the mayor's office couldn't make it. And we called around to try to invite everybody. No representatives, but we had a group of people that came out that are concerned. And so what I'm telling the people, stop putting people in place because of skin pigmentation. See who it is that has your best interest and hold these people accountable. So those are some of the steps that we are trying. These are recommendations. I know that you all won't be able to do anything about them. He kind of told me how the process worked. He said, you've been coming down there for a long time presenting your information. Citizens Review Panel works in other places. In Louisiana, we cannot let it work here, and I'm sorry for going a little bit over, Councilman, but I appreciate your time and your service and allowing me the opportunity to speak. I don't take this opportunity lightly, but we're trying to come up with comprehensive solutions to some of these problems. To admit that there's no problem within the police department would be like Baton Rouge. From they thought that wouldn't nothing happen, Dallas thought wouldn't nothing happen. But when something happened, then, you know, we where we at.
Thank you very kindly
Thank
for
you,
those
sir.
remarks, and good luck on your petition in getting these items addressed at the state legislature.
Thank you, sir.
Ryan Keel.
Good afternoon, esteemed
Yeah,
council.
please, state your name and
My name is Ryan Keel. I'm from Texarkana, Arkansas.
Okay.
Just want to say, first of all, it's an honor to be in the presence of the distinguished mayor, this great city of Shreveport. Today, I have with me my son Josiah, and we are a part of an evangelistic group that travels around different places in the 4 states region, and we preach the gospel of Jesus Christ. And on May the 28th at the Mudbug Festival, this is 2016, at approximately 1 o'clock, my son and I, and another person, it was 3 of us, we came down to share the gospel of Jesus Christ, hold up signs, and pass out gospel tracts to the comers and the goers of the Mudbug Festival. And we've done not the Mudbug Festival before, but other festivals, the Let the Good Times Roll, the Red River Revel, and we've used the same spot that we were using. After we were there about an hour, just passing out tracts and speaking to people, a group of police officers showed up, and I guess it was the head of security for the festival was speaking with them privately off to the side, and they came and they left. Nothing was said to us. There was no problem. But after about an hour, an individual showed up who said that he was in charge of the festival, and he had the head of security with him, and he wanted us to move. He asked us, I explained to him very kindly, sir, you know, this is public property. We're not trying to enter the gates beyond the barriers, the paved area. We're not trying to enter in. We're just out here on the corner. It's actually the intersection of Commerce and Crockett, the main entrance of Festival Plaza is where we were. And we explained to him that this was public property kindly. And he basically told me that if you don't move, I'm going to have you arrested. And I explained to him once again, this is public property. And I knew this to be true because I've used that same spot several times before. Okay? And about 25 minutes, some more police show back up and ask us to move. This time they did verbally contact me. And I explained to them, I've gone through the whole thing before. This Shreveport is a place we come quite often. We go to the casinos, we go to Festival Plaza, we go to Independence Stadium. This is something that we do. So I'm very enlightened on the law of Louisiana, and I abide by those laws. And I am a firm supporter of law and order. I'm a firm supporter of the police when they're right. I kindly explained to them that this was public property, and I explained that I've spoken to other supervisors on the police department before. Well, make a long story short, they arrested us. They charged us with entering and failure to leave, and also resisting an officer. Not resisting arrest, but resisting an officer. That's a little new to me. All we were doing, we went quietly. My son, who was 18 years old, has never been in any trouble in his life. His pants wasn't sagging. We did not resist in any way. All we were doing there was sharing the good news of the gospel of Jesus Christ and him crucified. We were detained for over 4 hours. Those charges are yet pending. Our next court date is August the 9th, and all I'm asking is for this not to go any further than it needs to go. I'm just asking for some proper consideration on these matters. I have a handout I'd like to give to the council and also the mayor and the city attorney also. Just asking for proper consideration. I have absolutely no malice or malicious intent. I love this city of Shreveport. I love the people here. I love the freedom that I know that is backed up by the law of the land here. And the Shreveport police have been wonderful for the most part. But in this instance, we were arrested. And all I'm asking for is some additional consideration on this. I have a handout. And if there's any questions, I have my contact information here if anybody would like to contact us.
Okay. Sir, I want to be sympathetic to your arrest, and this is not a matter that the city council can actually engage. It's in the hands of another venue. I wouldn't know what you just mentioned until you just mentioned it, and there's no preview under our charter that gives us any power to give you any recourse in this matter. I would suggest that there's our city attorney, Attorney Bradford. He may, after the meeting, can give you some directions on how you can address it so that it won't go the way it want to go. But I would suggest also you have an attorney that your attorney will make some ways in which that could be addressed. But this body has no jurisdiction over your matter.
Hey, Mr.
Council, want to say
Chairman,
something?
I'll get his information. I'll get with my chief prosecutor to see where his matter is pending in our court system.
Thank you.
And we'll have to review the file and look at all the facts. And
Okay. City attorney is under his preview. Okay.
I appreciate it. I just want, I understand the situation you're all in, but these are things that need to be brought to the leaders of the city so that you understand some of these things that do go on before something else
Mr. Gill,
worse happens.
I'm not going to actually debate it, but I will say this. Okay, this city, Shreveport, is a good city. It's our home. And until I get some information from the city attorney to tell me otherwise, I refuse to believe that you would have been arrested, an unjust arrest, for something that was not being violated. I refuse to believe that. So I don't know the details, but I'm saying get with the attorney, and he will review the case, review your situation, and try to bring some relief to you. But I appreciate you. Continue to visit our city, but matters of this nature is not matters in which this council could.
I just want it to be known that these things happen.
Okay.
And, I don't think it's any coincidence, some of the things that have been spoken here today already, because I actually took off work to be here today. So I don't think this is a coincidence. This is something that I just want you to know about that happened.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Very much. Okay. Okay. Latonya Kemp.
Hello, my name is Latonya Kemp, 6353 Crosswind Street, Shreveport, Louisiana, 71119. I'm here as well as a matter with the police department, Shreveport Police Department. Pastor Miles, I know him when he was in the world as Chucky. I don't know this young man that just spoke, but unlike him and what you refuse to believe, I have evidence of the police violating my civil rights. I've been to them. I've been hauled off, taken to jail. I don't call it arrested, I call it kidnapping. I go to the police department to speak to the representatives of the chief. I'm denied. I uproar the captain. Well, they're not gonna speak to you. How do you know? They're gonna tell me what to tell you, and that's where it ends at. Fill out a internal affair complaint. And myself as well, I'm with the gentleman. That's why things happen like it happened. Yes, I have a history with the police department because of the reasons right now. I'm here and I'm speaking and I'm gonna scream. I'm not gonna shut up. So I really came to let the mayor know that I want to speak to her in detail about what's going on with members of the police department. I don't blame all the police because there's some good ones. God knows there's some good ones out there. It's some good ones, but it's some that's crooked. I don't think I'm being, I'm arrested or my actions has caused my arrest. The details of what's going on right now, I feel like it's really a conspiracy because of my history with the police department. I have charges, not convictions. I go to trial and I speak. I have evidence. Every time I have been approached about what I'm here about right now, I ask the police, could you please put me under surveillance? Because I know it's their word against mine. I have a history. I have, you know. So, quite naturally, they're going to take uniform, city official. It's their job. It's not their job to decide what is going to be done and what's not going to be done. I don't think the police should be making judgments of civil matters and turning it into criminal matters. I really think it's a conspiracy, and I think that the police is a part of it. Because the time I have faced, I have beat because I went to court. And like I said, I don't know about the gentleman here and what you just spoke on. And I hate that. I have evidence of everything that I say. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to see it. What such and such called in and said this. You saw I was arrested on this date for this crime, but I was not convicted. Nobody never looked into the detail why I wasn't convicted. They just know I was arrested. I don't think it's right. And I think what's going on right now is a matter of, you know, the football digits, what they would really like to see me with. And it gets bad. And because I know what I know, I won't let it be a suicide by cop. So I'm here. Because I'm afraid for my safety, I'm a nobody. I don't have a lawyer. I don't figure like I need one. I haven't done nothing wrong, but yet and still I was kidnapped and I was taken to jail. I have not had a return call back for an appointment. Oh no, they're not gonna speak to you. I'm telling you what's going on. It's not right. I have evidence. Here is all the papers from here to here. Nobody want to see that. But then once somebody is so mad, fed up, sick and tired, what do you do? Where do you go? If I can't get help from my officials, they were placed here for a reason. But they don't want to do. They don't want to do their job. So I wonder, is it personal? I don't know.
Ms. Kemp, your time has expired.
I didn't get 7 minutes.
Ms. Kemp.
Well, like I said, I'm afraid for my safety, and I'm here because I want the mayor to know that I would like to speak to someone of authority. Because SPD, I figure like it's railroading me.
Thank you. And again, I'm going to repeat that this body does not have a preview.
I'm not asking you to do anything about what has gone on. I want you to look into the actions of Shreveport Police Department.
We'll review that, and thank you. And maybe the city attorney can give you some directions as well. Okay?
The city attorney, I need someone of higher authority. I want to speak to the mayor because, like I said, I have evidence. All they have to do is look at the videos.
Well, again, it's an issue.
If I ask, they put me on surveillance if I'm doing something I have no business doing. They'll play me in court all day long. How can you tell me that you're not going to record me?
Ms. Kemp, again, we're hearing your side. The mayor is available if her schedule allows. Just go through the proper
It may
channels.
do, and because I went there today. That's how I
we
know
don't set
about
our
this
schedule,
meeting,
so
because
please.
I have been turned away, rejected, denied. No one called back. I shoot off, like I said, to set up for suicide by cop. That's why I'm here. So it would be known to the public if something happens to me. They'll know I didn't pull a gun. I don't do guns, but I do catch charges because people are sick and tired.
Okay.
If I come to you all day, every day, and I can't get no help, you don't even want to hear me. The man got 7 years to speak a speech, and God knows he was on point. He was really talking about something. A lot of people ain't want to hear what he had to say, but he was able to speak about what he had to say. And I can't talk about the actions against me.
I'm going to end the conversation because I'm saying again that we are a city of codes and laws and ordinances, and we will be glad to hear you anytime you come here. But we can only deal with the issues that this council has been governed to do. And I'm saying
And
that
so,
I'm asking
they're
you,
not governed for nothing against the actions of the police department?
this council has a responsibility for the police as well as the citizens.
What about the people? Yeah, what about the people?
I'm
Tell me
saying
about the responsibility, the rights of the people. Who do I, that's why I'm here. That is exactly why I'm
But
here.
we'll
Who is
discuss-
here for the people?
I will discuss this with you after the meeting. If you
After the meeting,
prefer.
I will sit and wait, and I won't
Sit
say
and wait, and
another
I will-
word, long as I can talk
I'll
to
be happy to
somebody,
engage you, but-
because I'm being violated, and I don't know how to reach out. I
thank
asked for
you.
the chief. They
Thank
told
you.
me we're not gonna call him.
Thank you. You may be seated, Ms. Gibbons.
Oh,
Another
sit down,
thing.
be quiet.
Yes.
I'll do that, because I know I'm under surveillance.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Ms. Alicia Scroggins,
Let me ask a quick question.
yielding to the council lady.
She said her address so fast, I wasn't sure if, who district she's in. What was her address?
6353 Cross Main Street.
719. That's me.
Who is that? Councilman, okay.
I think it's, no, that's not. Is it yours? That's me.
No, he said Councilman Bowman.
Oh.
Thank you.
Okay.
Already?
Okay.
Felicia Scroggins, 9314 Sandalwood Drive, Shreveport, Louisiana, 71118. I am here again, piggybacking off of the both of them, which I've been here before, and you say there's nothing you can do. But like the young lady said, I'm a member of, work for the city. I'm a member of the Shreveport Fire Department. And again, I've made several complaints to the city, several complaints to the mayor's office. I do have an attorney. A lot of times they won't speak to me because of that, but if a situation is not to my attorney yet, I'm trying not to get it there. So I'm asking for a resolution. And also, it seems that when we have public meetings, when it's something negative that needs to come out to be addressed, to give some positive feedback, nobody in authority shows up. But when we have stuff going on here for other cities, you show up for other cities, but you can't show up for your own city. We are having problems here in Shreveport, bad problems that are triggering back to home. In these homes, there are kids that are growing up, that the people that's being lashed out at, done wrong at work, can be bringing this stuff home to their kids, to their husband, to their wives. So we're asking for a resolution. We're asking for some help. And when it comes down, nothing's founded, or if something is found, nothing happens to the person that's doing it, so it continues to happen. I'm going to do it because nobody's going to do nothing to me. Nobody's going to stop me. So I'm just going to keep on doing it, keep on making everybody's life a living hell. And that's what we're living in right now. And I understand you saying it's like you already taking sides, and that's how everybody feel. We have nobody to come to because you said, this young man, you know your city, this is a good city. It's good and it's bad. It's good and bad in everything. And to make this city good, we have to wean out the bad. There has to be some consequences and repercussions for the actions that are done that are wrong. We have policies and procedures that are being violated, but it's always a clause in that policy and procedure that makes it able to be violated. That's not right. Something needs to be done about what's going on in the city of Shreveport, the negative, to make this a positive place to live and work.
I appreciate your remarks. But I just want to say again, Ms. Robbins, I appreciate your remarks.
Mm-hmm.
If you know my history, you may not know my history, but my history is of one of being an activist and an advocate for us. But
Who
as,
is
but
us?
as when I'm saying us, the
For
John
you
Q-
or for
no,
us
John
as
Q-
a whole?
No, the John Q. Public. When I had issues in my community, I organized. Okay, but I'm saying this to say this: this body, the city structure. Okay, we are the legislative branch of the city structure. The mayor and her team is the administrative branch. We have no oversight over employees, none.
So they just do what they want, no consequences, repercussions.
No, the mayor.
So what are you in place for?
No. Say what?
What are you in place for if
No,
we having issues and we can't come?
We are the legislative branch. There may be and will be an opportunity for us to review the overall policies and responsibility of departments. But as it relates to us interfering or intervening in issues regarding city employees, we can't do that. We have no jurisdiction in that arena.
Well, it's not just there, it's the HR department as well. When we go to the HR department,
Those are administrative
I can speak on one personal issue that was in HR since December 22nd. To this day, I have not received a response. The policy says 5 days. I will be very considerate to give 30 days because I know they have an entire city to work for. Why is that right? Why is nothing being done about it? Why when I take it to the mayor's office, nothing's ever comes of it? It's just pushed under and maybe they'll forget about it or not speak up.
Okay. Well, again, your...
Nobody have answers for nothing.
No, it ain't the fact that we don't have answers. We can address issues that regarding to legislative
When?
issues of this city. But as it relates
That's
to...
an issue of this city.
No, but it's an issue regarding departments and staffing. That's what I'm pointing. That's my point. But anyway, I'll be happy. I mean, see, we would accept any responsibility that falls on our shoulders. I don't have no issue with that. But I cannot, just like I cannot and wouldn't want anybody to come in here dictating to this council things that they think we ought to be doing when they don't have the administration or any other department head telling us what we ought to be doing when they have no oversight or no involvement in what this council would legislate. That's our lane. And we have to respect the administration. Now, if you're having issues, and I'm not denying that you're having issues, but I think that those issues could be addressed and be responded to through the proper means and things.
And when it has, and then what? What I'm saying is, if I have to come here every meeting y'all have, and if I'm off work, I will be here because I went through the chain of command. I went to HR. I went to the mayor's office. Then when it comes out, the Justice Department was here. Oh, we had no idea about it. So I'm here on television to know, the mayor know about this. So if I have to come every time to stand up here, which I know you can't do nothing about, but say it so that the ears that need to hear it can hear it, to know that there's a problem, I'll be here.
Mr. August, you come here every meeting and you fill out a request to speak, you will be given that privilege.
And I'll be here.
Thank you. Thank you. But we cannot we cannot solve your issue here. Okay.
Excuse me, sir. I know I said I'm gonna sit down and shut
Ma'am, please. You're out of order. You're out of order. You're out of order. Out of order. Out of order. Okay.
Why y'all always on the news when something happens if you can't do nothing about what's going on in our city? That's all I want to know, and I'm gonna sit down and shut up, see if I can get a public answer. That's all. That's all, because I'm not the only one with issues here.
Ma'am, please.
But I'm gonna see
Respect this chamber. Please respect this chamber. Okay. Is that all, Jackie? Do I have any other ones?
There's one more.
Huh?
I've already told them.
Oh, yes.
They sure do. And I need to speak, but it won't let me, so after this person, you started.
Hold 1 second, please. 1 second. We'll yield to the council lady.
Yeah, I'm going to wait until they finish. I had just punched it and I didn't see it come up, so I want to let you know I do have some comments.
Okay, you'll be given that privilege. Thank you. Okay. I can't understand your first name. Please state your name and address for the record.
My name's Caitlin Douglas. Do I have to provide an address?
Yes.
P.O. Box something.
Sorry?
Yes. The address for the record.
912 Broadway Avenue, Shreveport, Louisiana.
Okay. You have 3 minutes, Ms.
Alrighty, thank you. Okay, this is my very first time attending a city council meeting. I'm 21 years old. I am obviously an African-American woman. I am college educated. I'll be finishing college in 3 semesters. What bothers me is that I have lived the very few years of my life in Shreveport, and I was born and raised here. The experiences that I have experienced here are unlike none other in any other city, in any other place that I've ever visited. And the reason being for that is there have been multiple complaints, not even just today, but within my community, about the things that police do to people of color, not just black people, not just Asian people, any minority or what you would consider to be a minority. My concern is that The city of Shreveport does have very good law enforcement, but we complain about things like sagging pants when that's a form of profiling. You're giving somebody a fine, but that person could have a genius level IQ and be up to no good, but you're giving him up to a $150 fine for sagging pants. You would not have maybe guessed that I was college educated if I used my normal vernacular with my friends. But what I do and who I am is not defined by my clothes and what I wear, and it's not defined by the color of my skin either. I just want to urge the city of Shreveport, because I know that you guys don't handle that, but that's not valid. That's not good. People are complaining to you because they have issues. You are members of this community also, and you sit in a seat of power to some extent where you're able to reach out to the public. And I'm very disappointed with the mayor. And that's no offense, because I didn't vote for you, and I don't mean that in any term, negative term at all. But I didn't vote for you because I didn't think that you would fulfill the needs, and you have proven today to a young African American woman, as an older African American woman, that you have not done anything to help other African American women or other African American people. People have this woman, this beautiful woman here, just implored to you and pretty much begged to you. She could have got on the floor, and it was like you didn't even want to say anything to her. You could have addressed it if you wanted to, and you didn't. You chose not to. So that is giving a psychological message to people that you do not care about the things that they are going through. So no, we know that you cannot directly affect the situations that people are going through, but you can indirectly affect it. You have power. We don't have power. The current power that you have. If I wanted to be in one of these seats, I would have to go throughout an election. I would have to go throughout a whole process, but that takes time. Our community in Louisiana, there has been a police shooting against the black man and police shootings against police. And I was just in Dallas at a seminar, and they had enough in blue lights because police were being slain because of the mistakes of their counterparts. Being silent is a problem. If you see a problem, you should address it. I know my time has run out, but I know you cannot do anything directly, but I just want you guys to understand that people are telling you this because there is an apparent problem that is not being handled properly, and they are afraid. I know people my age who are afraid to go outside and to go to parks and to do the things that they normally do because they think that somebody is going to be out there shooting them because of what some ignorant police officer did. We should be able to have SPD knowledgeable about these laws. You can't just get somebody who took some criminal justice course out of college and then put them in law enforcement if they are not themselves fully equipped to handle what comes with that position. There should be some type of training for them to consistently be able to understand what laws that we have as civilians and what they are not allowed to do to us. And if they are wrong, it's a pride issue. It's, excuse my language, a pissing match, pretty much. It's you against them. I have dealt with that before. And I have something on my record, personally, that should have never even done, and thank God I was able to, dismiss it. But at the same time, I know my time's out, but I just want to let you know that they know that they don't have the power, that you don't have the power to change things directly, but they are telling you because they hope, and we hope that as members of this community and as members of the city of Shreveport, Bossier, that you are going to be able to at least help. And that's all I have to say.
Let me just say this, and again, our priority for the safety and well-being of the citizens of this city, all the citizens of this city. Your expressions here is not falling on deaf ears. We are hearing you. We care. We care about the.
But are you listening? Hearing and listening are two different things. Okay, go ahead.
You gotta know what you're saying to care. But I'm saying, and we may, and we will, as a committee, within the proper structure that we are made of, can take some of the comments and expressions that was made today under consideration and advisement on what we could do. But I'm saying, as it relates to directly impacting administration.
You said that several times to several different people, so I do understand it, but
Okay.
continue.
And I just want to see, because a lot of our citizens misunderstand the scope of what we do, and that we could actually direct and dispatch and be held whole department heads or the mayor accountable, and that's again out of our purview. But at the same time, hearing the combination of things that are being said it gives us the opportunity to think about some things that we may need to add or legislate that could have some impact on what we've heard. You're welcome to come back and speak to this council at any time. Thank you very much. Before, we have one more speaker, but Council Lady, you want to speak now, you want to wait? Yes.
No, I'll wait till they finish.
Councilman Bowman? Okay. And is it Nicole Keel?
Hello, Mayor, Chairman,
state
Vice
your name and
Chairman.
your
My name is Nicole Keel, K-E-E-L. My address is 2906 East 46th Street, Texarkana, Arkansas. And I just wanted to, hopefully, there is one area where the scope of this council does apply, and that is on the issue of if an area is public property, belongs to the city of Shreveport, or is it private property? And that area in question is at the Festival Plaza, the street in front of Festival Plaza at, I think it's Caddo and Commerce, if that belongs to the city. And I think that's something that the city needs to be aware of. If this is public property and you've leased the Festival Plaza to an entity, you still maintain control of that area, don't you? You control the vendors, you control everything that goes on in that Festival Plaza. There are rules set in place by ordinance of the city that they cannot violate when they lease that venue, correct? I would think that is, I believe from what I'm looking at, that's what it is. And I think within the scope of this body, you can determine whether or not that spot still falls within public use, public egress and regress, the ability for the free exchange of ideas, for the freedom of the press, freedom of religion, and freedom of expression in the public spaces, which are traditional public fora. That is something that falls under your jurisdiction. And therefore, that is something that needs to be brought to you and explained to you that the constitutional rights have been violated in that area. And it's not someone doing this necessarily maliciously. It is out of a misunderstanding of what is a public space versus what is private. And that is what I believe my husband, he didn't get a chance to explain that, but that's what we've experienced. Typically, the Shreveport police have been wonderful. They typically recognize this is a public space. This time they didn't. And I think, and I believe that this body has the ability to say, hey, this is a public space, belongs to the city, freedom of speech, the constitutional rights cannot be abridged in this spot. And that's a place that we have always used. I'm not saying for you to rule on a case. Explain what's public and what's private. And that's...
Ms. Keel, let me just say this, and again, this is not the place for us to air it out, but I want to say that it's not that simple. Okay? We are a city, again, of laws, codes, and ordinances.
Sure.
Okay?
And you have
and just imagine for a second that if 100 people came to Shreveport and each one of them got on a corner, okay, to do what they do, either sell or whatever.
Selling is totally different from freedom of speech.
No, it's the same issue. It's
No.
an issue.
The
Well,
Constitution
again, I'm not going to
distinguishes
debate you,
between
but
them
I'm just
both.
saying that there are procedures in place for somebody to utilize even the public asset of what wasn't leased out to the organization or the entity that was using public thing. But I'm saying, but you, and no disrespect, but your husband did the same thing. You came assuming that something was what it was because you guys had been doing it all along. But it don't work. It's not that, it doesn't work that way.
The assumption is not just because we've been doing it, it's because the traditional public forest, a public street and sidewalk belongs to the public.
If 100 people came to do what you was doing.
That's fine. We had it in, we've been there before.
There are procedures in which we do. But again, I think the attorney
That's what the
has
Constitution
agreed to
affords.
address it with you guys. But again, we don't try to cover anything up. We don't try to circumvent the law. We'll look at that. But again, I know that if somebody was selling or performing on streets of this city that there are procedures that they would need to have to engage to do those things. And we welcome anybody to come in our city and to do things, but we have to do it within the structure in which our codes and ordinances allows.
Yeah, and your ordinance allow for free speech. Solicitation and free speech are two totally different things. You can't lump them all together. And they're afforded different protections under the law.
Your husband said he was promoting CDs. He was giving
No,
away-
we don't promote CDs.
He
No,
was
we
giving
were
away?
passing out gospel tracts. That's called freedom of the press. We were speaking to
But
people
I
about.
hear it. We don't have any other information. We can only respond to information. We don't have information.
I understand
So
you don't
we-
have information. I was presenting a hope and an idea and hopefully that you would think about the fact that you guys, the city of Shreveport owns an area that there's no free speech
When you come
allowed.
back again, I would know what the ordinance is regarding what you all was doing. I don't know, but I just know that we cannot allow solicitation on every corner of Shreveport at any one time without going through the proper procedures, okay? Thank you very kindly. All right, Council Lady.
Oh. Oliver almost
forgot?
had me. No, Oliver almost had me under his spell.
Who did?
Councilman Jenkins.
Hey, quit
I was transmitting positive thoughts to her that I thought might change the kind of atmosphere in here. So I was really focused on
Set a
that.
beam over here then.
Made me blush. City attorney. I want to talk to somebody higher than the city attorney. No, I'm just joking. Mr. William Bradford, I'm not calling you up. I just wanted to make a joke that I want to talk to somebody higher than the city attorney. I want to start using that one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
What I want to say is, I guess what I'm hearing probably from the presentation that Mr. Kraft gave through the public comments, that have been made by various people who know, some appear that they don't know each other, or maybe some know each other. But what I'm hearing collectively, as I said from Mr. Kraft's speech and presentation, through the public comments, is that Black Lives Matter. Black communities matter. The health, safety, and welfare of Shreveport's black communities matter. Now, I heard someone say a couple of weeks ago, I think it was, that we can't keep looking backwards if we're going to move forward. But I think Mr. Kraft's speech today, although it was made in, I think, 1963, much of what was spoken then could actually be spoken today. But I am concerned because I do think that oftentimes we put a Band-Aid or we try to sugarcoat or we try to cover up that there are some genuine concerns and fears that people have in the city of Shreveport. And I think I've expressed this maybe a year or two ago. I know to the mayor and maybe to a few people on the council that at times it seems that we're sitting on a powder keg. And I don't know what, I just believe that it's just going to take a spark because there's a lot of frustration, there are a lot of disappointments, there are a lot of expectations, some, as Council Chair said, that are realistic, some that are not realistic, some that are achievable, some that are not achievable. But at the end of the day, I think people want to know that we care and that we're going to do something about the issues that concern them. And I'm not convinced, and I've been on this council almost 2 years now, I'm not convinced that we care enough about the entire city. And I've said this, and I got a lawsuit today, as a matter of fact, because people think they're going to shut me up. They think I'm not going to speak about some of the issues that that have been brought out here today. I mean, I'm hearing, and I'm not the only one hearing, the council members up here, they hear, people come down, but they're hearing a lot of things. They're hearing that the city morale is at the lowest point that it's ever been. That's what they're saying. I don't know if it's true or not, but that's what people are saying. People are saying that this administration, and by virtue of us being on the council as well, does not care about the entire city. That there are two Shreveports, there's one side that's being taken care of, and the other side, I say, that's not what they're saying, but I say looks like hell. That city resources and city services are not being provided equitably in this city. We just need to stop pretending that everything is okay for everybody. I asked a question a couple of days ago. We need to have this conversation, and we're going to have the conversation, because every study, and I've been in politics for 13 years now, and I voted for, when I was on the parish, all these different studies, but they've all said, and even going back to, and I like to refer to Belden Daniels, but probably some even before then, that have said over and over, every study has said, until at that time what was the minority community, which is now today the majority community in Shreveport, as long as there are consistent deep disparities between the economic well-being, the health well-being of Shreveport's black communities, that this city is going nowhere. Nowhere. So we've got to stop pretending that everything is okay for everybody when it's not. And actually start to do something about that. And stop sweeping stuff under the rug and stop pretending. I'm not saying we don't live in a great city. I wouldn't be here if that wasn't the case. I've lived other places. I've visited a lot of places. But for the people that choose to be here, that have not moved next door, that have not moved outside of the city, who want to be here, let's really work toward making life better for everybody. And so those are my 2 cents about what I've heard today. Some of it we don't have a direct influence on. And I think that's why it's important to not let other people define or try to, what I would consider, water down or to try to quiet what people have to say. Now, the last study that we had that I'm aware of was the SB Land Institutes. And I went to the big meeting where they kind of outlined their recommendations or what have you. And they talked about having the community conversation, that people were that they needed everybody needed to have a seat at the table. And they recommended that there be an outside facilitator that would commence these community conversations, I think is what they called it. And one of the members, pretty prominent member, I would say, of our city that was there at that meeting, he asked a question. He asked the same question 3 times in 3 different ways. He said, who do you say we had to talk to? The lady said, everybody. He could not get in his head that she really meant everybody. Not the hand-picked people that you like to talk to, but folks who, in some people's opinion, would say act out. You got to talk to the what was the lady's name? Miss Kemp's. You gotta talk to the Miss Scroggins. You gotta talk to the, I forgot your name. Hill. You gotta talk to everybody. It's not gonna be a conversation that's going to be comfortable, that's going to be nice, that's going to be, you know, some of the things that makes folks comfortable. But these are people that live in our city, that are very much a part of our city, just as anybody else. And if we are going to move forward and be the city that I believe Shreveport can be, then we're going to have to put forth more of an effort to make sure that all of our communities are doing well. But that's my speech for today. But the end of my speech is that Black Lives Matter. I'm going to say it. I'm not changing that. I'm not saying all lives or blue lives or purple lives or whatever. I'm saying Black Lives Matter. Black communities matter. Thank you.
Thank you, Council Lady, for those remarks. Councilman Bowman.
I guess I can piggyback on some of that. Black lives do matter, but I have to say all lives matter. You can't go one-sided and say that only Black lives matter or just for the particular situation. I understand that Black lives matter, but I believe all lives matter, and that's part of the problem, that we still distinguish the two. We still break down and have a difference. It is two Shreveports because the people in leadership get up and make out that black, 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 and then white, white, white. But then you, at the end of the statement, you say that Shreveport can be great, but we always got something negative to say about Shreveport. There's never nothing positive to say about Shreveport. Every day, every time, it's something negative about Shreveport. We got our faults. Things are wrong. Things need to be addressed. I agree. I do agree. We need to talk to people. I agree with that. But to sit up and to be in leadership and always have something negative to say about Shreveport, how can you obviously think that Shreveport is going to move forward? I don't see it. I can't see it. Always something negative about Shreveport. Not one time do you say something positive about Shreveport that's negative. Is there an issue? Is there a race-related issue? Yes, it is. I believe that. I believe Shreveport has that. But we can't fix it by steady dividing the two. The people who came up and spoke, I love to speak to them and talk to them and see what their issues are. I can't solve their problems. I don't think just me. But I don't think that they are looking up for leadership to always have something negative to say, number one, or not help them with their problems, number two. And we shouldn't go sideways. Racially influenced. That's my 2 cents, sir.
Thank you, Councilman, Council Lady. Thank you very kindly. Thank you for this engagement.
Always.
I'm gonna give my 2 cents, then we'll adjourn. And I'm gonna ask and respectfully request that as we address each other, that we would do it respectfully.
Thank you.
I agree.
Okay, but I'm gonna say this. 1 year and 6 months. Whatever Shreveport is, it didn't happen over the last 1 year and 6 months. But we can't do something about that. Now, I said to our guests that the issues that they was bringing forth was a response to what had occurred. But this body can introduce any legislation that we wish. If you feel like you can introduce some legislation that would be helpful in making this city better, introduce the legislation. We are a democracy. We have 4 votes will get us legislation that will be responsive to whatever issue that you think would be advantageous to move this city forward. Unlike other folk, we don't have to really complain. All we have to do is legislate. We can get with our clerk. We can get with our administration, and we can draft legislation. This body can do that. And we can, any member of this body can do that. Bring it to this body. If 4 of us agree that this is something that would be advantageous to this city, then we change the code. We change the ordinance. We change the law. So I'm challenging us to do that. We've had this conversation. I'm moving forward with that. We don't have to come here meeting after meeting and say what ain't happening. We come here with an ordinance saying this is what we want to change in this city. Pass it, allow it to come law, and we got something tangible that's in the law book that we can move forward on. That's what we need to do. We don't have to be complainers. We can be advocators, and I'm challenging us that we do that. There's no other business before this body. This meeting is adjourned.